Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So today is Worldwide Granny Square Day. I don't know if that's the official title, whether it's international, national, global. Let's go global. Global Granny Square Day, 15th of August 2023. Yeah. So I have been busy making some granny squares to celebrate that occasion. Now, if you have been on this channel a little while, you will know that I am currently making a memento blanket. That's what I call it. It's not a pattern, but it's a memory blanket for me. I've made a few now. When people so graciously gift me with happy mail yarn, if I have a big enough quantity, I turn it into a blanket to remember the person that sent me that yarn. It's like a forever keepsake. I have two done, and I'm on my third. And the third one that I'm making, I am using Olga Poltava's 2-colour granny square baby blanket pattern. Now this is a paid for pattern. I will link it down below. I will link Olga's YouTube channel and her Ravelry where you can get her wonderful patterns, and she has loads of beautifully stunning patterns, so I do encourage you to go and check out that designer. She is phenomenal. I believe her pattern is $6.49, something like that. Don't quote me on it, but it's around the $6 mark. But it is well worth every penny. I am totally addicted to making that blanket, and I know a couple of my friends really like the look of it, and they are currently making things using that pattern. And several of you have said that you've got it on your list to make when you can get around to it. So it's brilliant that a pattern I've always wanted to make and I have showcased is now increasing in popularity because you guys want to make one too. Anyway, that is not the granny square that I am making for Global Granny Square Day. No, no, no. I am making individual squares. Now, you might be saying, Sam, you're mad. You're doing Tile of the Week Thursday, which you don't enjoy. You've told everyone that you love making squares, but you hate joining them together. You would be correct. But this is going to be a twofer, guys. And do you know why? Well, I'm going to tell you. So, not only have I been making squares for Global Granny Square Day, I am making squares because the very lovely, beautiful soul, Linan, over at Nina's Knots Crochet, has opened up her PO box to anybody who would like to send her 5-inch granny squares for Boggy Creek Camp. She will join them all together for us. So if you don't know Linan, I'm going to put her link down in the description box. She is such a lovely lady, guys. She inspires me all the time. She can do a little bit of knitting. She can crochet. She loves Tunisian crochet. Yarn hauls that are just stunning. She joins in a lot of crochet alongs and make alongs. She has hosted a few herself. She's in collaborations. That lady has really, really made a stamp on the YouTube streets, and she is such a lovely person to boot. She lives in Florida, and at the moment she's going through a bit of a tough time. Her hubby is quite poorly. So if you could send her, you know, best wishes and well wishes to her husband, I would really appreciate it. And Linan, if you are watching, I hope hubby gets well soon, and I hope that you are resting when you can and that you're looking after yourself. My email inbox is always open if you just need a little bit of a rant or a chat. But that was a personal message to Linan. But to the rest of you, please do check out Linan, because if you're not aware of Boggy Creek Camp, it is a camp in Florida that is specifically for seriously or chronically ill children. I mean the children that wouldn't normally be able to go to camp. And the reason why they can go to this one is they have a fully equipped facility to deal with some of the most intensive illnesses and diseases that unfortunately children can sometimes have. There is an on-site medical facility with all the equipment they're going to need, all the medications. They have on-site doctors and nurses and specialists in that field. And what they do is, for a certain week, all the children that apply with all that same illness go on that week. So say, for example, it's a respiratory thing. All of those children with the same respiratory issues, they all go on that week. So that week they have respiratory specialists, doctors and nurses for those kids. And then the next week, if it's another type of illness, it will be those specialists for that illness. So the doctors and nurses swap out. There is always people on hand to do daily medications, any treatments that these children need, but they can even go swimming. Honestly, guys, if you don't know anything about Boggy Creek, I really do implore you to search it up. I believe there are videos on YouTube and on the internet. But Nancy at She's Got Yarn Too, her mum asked Nancy to make a couple of blankets for these kiddies. And Nancy said, yeah, sure, not a problem. And then Nancy asked Lynette from Charm Grammy if she could make a couple as well. And Lynette said, you know what, we've got a big platform here on the YouTube streets. Let's open it up. Let's see if people want to donate and help. And last year, guys, over 360 blankets were donated to Boggy Creek, which is phenomenal. Because what they do is in the dormitories, in the little houses that they stay in, each bed has a handmade blanket put on it. And when those children have finished their fun, action-packed, amazing week at Boggy Creek Camp, they get to take that handmade blanket home, which is just so lovely. Now, I wasn't able to take part last year for a number of reasons. I do plan to send intact, completed, whole blankets later in the year. They are accepting blankets from now until the end of the year, I believe, or maybe early next year. And the best place to send them to is Nancy. She's Got Yarn Too. I will put her channel link down in the description box. Go to one of her videos, guys. Check out, and she has a video actually where her and Lynette got a tour of Boggy Creek, and it was just such a wonderful video to watch. And then this year's blanket drive, however many blankets that they receive this year, they will again hand deliver them to Boggy Creek next year, which is fabulous. They are doing lives over on Billy's channel. Now, Billy is the Crafty Floridian. I will put her channel link in my description box as well, because they go live on Billy's channel, and that's where they open up the boxes of donated blankets to showcase everyone's hard work. So the three of them, Lynette, Nancy and Billy, they have all come together and made this big blanket drive here on YouTube, and it will be so amazing this year that I can participate, because I just think the thought of a chronically ill child going home with a handmade blanket is just so heartwarming and lovely. But back to Lynanne. She realises that shipping is crazy. She knows that a lot of us are going to struggle with sending big, heavy blankets to Nancy, and some of us are not in the position to do so. So she's come up with the idea of getting us, all of us, whoever, content creator, non-content creator, whoever you are, we can send as many granny squares as we like to her, 5-inch ones, and she will spend the time sitting there and joining them, because Lynanne doesn't like making the squares, but she does quite like joining them. I'm the complete opposite. I can make squares until the cows come home, but I do not want to put them together. I mean, hello, if you've been here a while, I still haven't done my fruit square blanket. Been in the making for over a year now. Just saying. But yeah, so if you make them 5 inches by 5 inches, put them in a tiny little bubble mailer or a little envelope, cost of a stamp, maybe a tiny few dollars worth of shipping rather than box and lots of shipping, then Lynanne has offered her services of joining all of our squares and creating even more beautiful blankets for Boggy Creek Camp, which is just fabulous. And with everything Lenana's got going on right now, she is a superhero in my eyes. Thank you so much, Lenan. You are just, well, I bow down to you, my lovely, because I hate joining them, and I think you are going to be flooded with squares, and you are going to have a lot of them to join, lovely. I don't know if you realise what you've taken on, but we all appreciate it, I can tell you. The blankets have to be, I believe, between 30 and 40 inches wide and 40 and 50 inches long if you're going to do a whole blanket. But the details of that will be on Nancy's channel, so please make sure that you do get the right measurements, that you don't just take it for granted that I know what I'm talking about, because again, if you've been here, that isn't always the case. So get it directly from Nancy, as she has the definite requirements. So yes, so I've spent 11 minutes waffling, going around the houses and not actually showing you what I've made. But these are going to go to Lenan, and I'm going to add to them. I am going to keep adding to them over the next few months, and then I'm going to send them all together, I think. Or when I've got a nice little pile, I'll put them in an envelope, send them to Lenan, and then get another little pile, send them to Lenan. I don't know, we shall see. But I do intend on making more than what I have. So at the moment, I am, and I'm attached to both yarns because I didn't finish this one before I came on to film. I have pulled one of the Kind Feathers out of my stash. Kind Feather by Hobie, 100% premium acrylic, and it is anti-pilling. It is colour number 1, but it is white. It is 100 grams or 3.5 ounces, 235 metres or 257 yards. Lightweight number 3 or DK. They recommend a 4mm knitting needle or a 4.5mm hook. And obviously it is made in Turkey. So I am using Kind Feather White, and remember there is 100 grams of this. And then in my mystery boxes that I received from the Knitting Network recently, I got some of this ABC yarn, Little Explorers DK, so that's a lightweight as well, guys. These are 50 gram balls. They are approximately 150 metres or 164 yards. They are 100% acrylic, made in Turkey. This is colour 001 Beach. It is yellows and pinks and whites. So I have paired these together. Now for these squares, I'm going to keep going until this 100 gram skein of white is gone. I have already gone through one of the 50 grams. There's the empty label. So I'm going to go until this white runs out. If I've got a little bit of this left over, I shall put it in my scrap bin. But I've put these two together, and I have made little mini squares of the 2 colour granny squares from Olga Poltava. And what I have done, you're going to have to excuse me, I have not weaved in my ends, which is very sloppy of Manfa. I normally do not come on very often and show my ends, but I needed to make this video because I was running out of time. I needed content. It's Global Granny Square Day. Didn't have time to do my ends. It's fine. They will all be sewn in before I send them to Lenan. Don't panic. So what I have managed so far is I have managed 6 of the pattern being this way. So the white is the main colour, and the little, what look like peacock feathers are the variegated. I have managed 6 of those. And then I decided to reverse it. So at the moment I have 5 of it the other way around, where the variegated is the main colour and the little peacock feathers are in the white. Now this is a little bit busy. The pattern does get lost a little bit, but I just thought it would be a little bit of a nice contrast. I prefer this one. But there we have it. 6 of this one, and 5 of this one. So I've done 11 so far. I do have a 12th on the hook, not completed yet, but will be shortly. And like I said, I'm going to keep going until my one skein of white runs out. And then I have exciting plans for the other squares that I'm going to send Lenan. So I will go diving in my stash for yarn for that one. And I will come back at some point and showcase those squares as well. But one step at a time, folks, one step at a time. So I started doing these on my live on Saturday. I did a few on Sunday evening, and I'm filming this on Monday. So this is a couple of days work, but getting up and down, doing other things, actually going to my physical outside of the home job on the Sunday, going to my parents for a meal, birthday parties. It's been busy. So to get 11 done, even though I've been busy doing other things, is quite impressive, I think, with a 12th on the hook. So I think I should be able to get at least 15 out of this white, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I will let you know once they are all done. So yeah, that's a double dip. That's a twofer. Not only is it Granny Squares for Global Granny Square Day today, August the 15th, 2023, but they are squares that will eventually be sent to Lenan for her to put into a blanket for one of the Boggy Creek camp kids, which just melts my heart. Lenan, thank you again so much for offering that service to those that cannot afford to send whole blankets to Nancy. They can still be a part of it. They can still feel like they have helped and done their thing. And you're doing the hardest part of joining all the squares together. My goodness gravy. Like I said, I salute you, lady. Wow. And Nancy, thank you for bringing it to our attention that these kids need these donated blankets. It's a wonderful thing that you, Lynette, and Billy are doing. And your mum, of course, for highlighting it to you. I just think the whole thing is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing to be involved with. And I am very grateful that I can be a small, tiny, itty-bitty part of it. That not only can I help my YouTube friends, but I can help some of these kids and give them a lovely keepsake at the end of their fabulous week at Boggy Camp. Yeah, so that's it for today, guys. I've got my granny squares. They will eventually be shipped off to Lenan. So Lenan, can't tell you when, but you will get an envelope from Manfa at some point. Remember that they are accepting... I think Lenan is going to continue accepting granny squares until November. But again, go to her channel, find the relevant video where she gives you the information, and make sure you've got the details correct. Don't rely on Manfa, please, because Manfa gets it all wrong all the time. But I think she's accepting squares until November. So we have got a good couple of months still to get granny squares to Lenan, which is awesome. And I'm going to be continuing doing squares in and out until I need to ship them in enough time to get there. Because, of course, I'm in the UK. It's going to take a little while for them to get to Lenan. So I will leave plenty of time for them to get to her. But I will do more as the weeks progress. And I will also be doing full blankets to send to Nancy herself as well. Check out all my friends in the description box, guys. Throw yarn in their window, which means subscribe. Watch their videos. And if you are in a position to, please send squares to Lenan, or please send completed blankets that fit the measurements for the children's beds at Boggy Creek Camp. It would be amazing if we could beat last year's numbers. So I better get off here and get doing some more squares, right? Okie dokie, that's my plan. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I really do appreciate it. This community is just fabulous, and when we can help out others as well, it just takes it to a whole new level of awesome. And on that note, remember there is daily content here at Manfa's Makes, so do keep clicking on and seeing what I am up to. But until I see you again, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one or around the YouTube streets. Bye guys, love ya.